Okay, so this is a video for, I believe it is homework 2, question number 12. Yes, homework 2, question 12. And this one, we have the shape of a distribution of the time required to get an oil change at a 20-minute oil change facility is unknown. However, records indicate that the mean time is 21.6 minutes. So even though they say it's a 20-minute oil change, it's taking them about 21.6 minutes on average. And the standard deviation is 4.9 minutes. So remember what standard deviation is the average distance from the mean. So on average, it's taking them 21.6 minutes plus or minus 4.9 minutes, and that's kind of where the bulk of their oil changes are. So the first thing is we need to compute probabilities regarding the sample mean using the normal model. What size sample would be required? And for this, it's always that you need a sample size greater than 30. So that's from the central limit theorem, so that's always going to be your answer whenever you want to choose anything that's going to be using the normal model. So let's just check that out really quickly. Okay, now to find the probability, this can be a little bit daunting at times. So a great thing to go through is your question help. And if you go to question help and you click view an example, if you do help me solve this, it's not going to give you full credit right away. It's a great way to kind of go through and solve it if you're having a ton of trouble. But view an example I always like because it will still give me full credit at the end. So if I click view an example, it's going to explain here, it won't give me the exact numbers, it's going to give me a 12-minute oil change, 13.1 minutes, standard deviation of 6, but they're going to be using the same sort of deal. As I said before, the sample size should be greater than 30. So the first thing they're saying is that when a simple random sample of size n, that means I'm just drawing a n number, maybe 5 or 6 or 10, is drawn from a large population with mean mu and standard deviation sigma, the sampling distribution of x bar will have a mean that's the same as the regular mean. So no matter what, my mean is going to be the same. So if my mean here is 13.1 minutes, the mean of my sample is also going to be 13.1 minutes. And the standard deviation, the way that it changes, is we take our old standard deviation and I divide by the square root of n. Okay, so after you do that, it's going to tell you what your value is here. Okay, after we do that, we have to get our z-score. Now remember, to get a z-score, what we do is we take our average, we subtract our mean that we got, and we're dividing by the standard deviation, and in this case it's the standard deviation of the sampling distribution that we got up here, okay? So they're saying that it's a 12-minute oil change, that's what they claim, right? So 12 minus the 13.1 it was taking them, the mean time, divided by the standard deviation that we got here, okay? And once we go ahead and do that, we then have to find the area under the normal curve that corresponds to that z-score. So let me show you how to do all that and do it in StatCrunch as well. Okay, so first of all, we have to find the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. So remember, that means we're going to take this 4.9, which was our standard deviation here, and we're going to divide by the square root of whatever n was. And in this case, we're taking 35 oil changes as our sample. So we're going to do 4.9 divided by the square root of 35. So let me go up here and do that. So let's see, I'm going to go into a calculator. So let's see, 4.9 divided by the square root of, what was it again, 35, I believe? Yes, 35. Okay, so we'll say, let's go to 5 decimal places to be accurate. So like 0.82825 sounds good to me. So let's keep that in mind. Now, the next thing I have to do is I have to find my z-score. Okay, now remember, to find the z-score, what we're going to do is we're going to take their claim. So they claim that it takes them 20 minutes. We're going to subtract the mean that we have from the sample, so 21.6. And then we're going to divide by that standard deviation we just got. So over here, I'm going to clear this out. Okay, so I've got 20 minus 21.6. And you know what I should really do here? I should put parentheses, because then I won't have to go ahead and get rid of this whole calculation. I'll have this answer up here that was kept for me. So I'm going to do 20 minus 21.6, and I'm going to close it, and we're going to divide by my previous answer. So if you press answer, it's actually going to divide by that standard deviation right there without even rounding. So it's going to be a really nice answer that's not going to be rounded. It's going to be very specific. And press equals. So my z-score here is negative 1.93 approximately. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back And they want the probability that the mean time is less than the 20 minutes, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take question help, and we're going to go to StatCrunch, because that is so much easier than using the table, okay? Now to find the area under the normal distribution, we'll go to Stat, Calculators, to Normal. Okay, now as you can see, it gives me this little picture of the normal distribution. We want to change the z-score to the value that we need. And again, let me go back here. I should really write things down. It's about negative 1.93. So if I click negative 1.93, I'm going to put that here. So negative 1.93 and press enter. And as you can see here, it's giving me a probability. So it's 0.0268 approximately. Let me see what they wanted me to round to here. I think it was 4 decimal places. So I'm going to, yep, it was 4 decimal places. So 0.0268 looks like my value. 0.0268. And I got it correct. Okay, so again, a great thing to do is go through your question help. That way, if you're having any trouble, you'll still get full credit on this question as you go through your question help. And I can even keep going back to it. So say I was still confused over something, I could go back to question help and I could view more of the example and kind of go through what they were doing. I find it's a little easier to read than the book. Okay, now don't forget, they're going to kind of show you here, it says, you know, the probability under the standard normal distribution, look up the area in a table. That's where you want to go to StatCrunch instead, and we put all of those videos in our general question center of our discussion board.